Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome to my channel. So in this video, I am going to discuss my top 10 tips for anyone starting out in the nail industry. Now, it is not solely just for anyone starting out in the nail industry. There may be some seasoned nail techs out there who have been working in this industry for a long time that may find some of the things that I mentioned in this video very useful. So if this is something that you're interested in, keep watching, stick around guys. As always, don't forget to click those like and subscribe buttons for me. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section below. And that being said, let's get started. All right, guys, so coming at you with number one is to get a separate business phone. Now, this isn't something that I just recommend or solely recommend for people in the nail industry or beauty industry. This is something that I would recommend for anyone who is running any type of private business. Now, I understand when we're first starting out, we are really trying to save money. We're not trying to spend a lot of extra money in areas that we don't need to, but I will tell you that it is 100% worth it. Now, when I first started out, and when anyone is first starting out, we are trying to hustle. So we are a little more willing to be on our phone 24/7. We're really not that bothered if someone is texting us or calling us outside of business hours because we are hustling, because we are trying to build that clientele, we are trying to build our business. So it's understandable that we generally start out just using our personal cell phone. But I will tell you from personal experience that it was maybe like 6 months into running my business that I just thought I need to get a second phone. There was just a time where I was feeling burnt out. I was constantly answering messages. And you have the example of someone breaks a nail at 11 o'clock or midnight and they end up texting you to say, hey girl, I just broke a nail. And because I'm such a FOMO person, and I can't not answer my phone, I would roll over in bed, I would open the text, and I would think to myself, girl, it's 11 o'clock or it's midnight, why are you texting me? But the reason that they're texting you or calling you is because it's on their mind. So if you think about any other business, for example, another nail salon or a hair salon, if someone is wanting to book an appointment and it just happens to be midnight and it's on their mind, they are very much free to call that number, leave a voicemail, and then they don't have to think about it. And then the salon will contact the client the next day and no one was bothered. So the other thing that I want to mention that kind of ties in with number one and getting a separate business phone is that if you are unable to get a separate business phone, then at the very least, I would highly recommend putting an auto away app on your phone. So I will link two below. I have one on my Android phone and it is called SMS Autoresponder. And then I also found one for iPhones called Auto Sender. So again, I will put the links of those ones below, but even if you just go into your Play Store or into your iTunes, or what is it called? Apple Store. I'm not an Apple person at all, sorry guys. I'm a total Samsung person. But if you go into the Apple Store and if you just search Auto Away Message or Auto Away App, you can find tons of them. But I would highly recommend adding that even if it's just going to be on your personal phone. The great thing about these apps is that you can personalize the message. So for example, I have a message on mine that says, thank you for contacting Nails by Jen. These are my business hours and I will return your message as soon as possible. The great thing about this is when a client sends their text to you, and some of these apps you can actually set to respond in a text message to phone calls as well. But the one that I have, I just have it set to respond to text messages. So what is great about this is when a client texts you, if you are unable to respond all day because you're working, you can set it to answer messages while you're working, or just during your off hours when you're closed, or in particular, and even more awesome, is when you're on a holiday, you can set the Auto Away app to tell them, I'm on holidays, I will return all messages on such and such date. The thing that is awesome about this is that it helps the clients to understand that you have received their message and you will respond to them. You're not ignoring them, you haven't forgotten about them. Because I know myself, when I have texted certain businesses that prefer texts or they're a small business and I don't get a response for several days or all day, I kind of think to myself that my business isn't appreciated. I kind of get that little bit of a feeling. Now, I generally will send a second text just to ask them like, hey, did you get my message? And usually they'll respond and say, I was busy, or, oh, sorry, I was closed for the weekend. But if you are a client and you're texting someone and they don't respond, you don't know if they've got the message, you don't know what they're doing, if they're ignoring you. So it's really nice to have this as a way just to let your clients know, or potential clients know, that you will get back to them. Now, obviously, if you have gotten a separate business phone, you also want to add an auto away app onto your separate business phone for the exact same reasons that I just explained of why to do it on your personal phone. So just to recap number one for you guys, the number one thing I would say is to get a separate business phone with an auto away app, or if you can't get a separate business phone, use your personal phone and add an auto away app. Some of them are free, some of them are a very low cost. We know apps don't generally cost a lot, so I would highly recommend those two things. Moving on to number two. So number two is that you need to train your clients. Now, I know people watching this are probably thinking, Jen, I'm not a freaking dog. No, you are not. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is it goes back to the old saying that you teach people how to treat you. So oftentimes I've run into nail technicians who are complaining about that they're working outside of their hours, that, you know, they are supposed to be off on Sundays, but they have a client who always wants to get in on Sundays and they always sneak her in. So not only do you have to train your clients, but in order to train your clients, you have to train yourself. So if you are starting out in the business and you are, you know, we're just beginning, we are always willing to hustle. Again, in the beginning of our business, we are willing to bend over backwards, work all kinds of crazy hours, work outside of our schedule, because we are building our business, because we are trying to gain clients, and we are trying to put ourselves out there. That is completely understandable. But it gets to a point where, again, you may start getting burnt out. You may start feeling like you're being taken advantage of. You just don't want to work outside of your business hours. You want to have more of a schedule. So this is the time when you have to sit down with yourself and kind of evaluate what are the things that you are willing to do and what are the things that you are not willing to do. So if, for example, you have a client who is constantly asking you to sneak her in on Sundays and you do it, you are kind of training or teaching that client that she can do that all the time and that she can always get on Sundays. If you have a client who can only come at midnight and your hours are supposed to be done at 9 o'clock, but you are always like, sure girl, I'll get you in at midnight, then she's going to expect that you are going to get her in at midnight. So you're kind of training her in that way. So you have to start with really evaluating if at the end of the day you're complaining to other friends or nail techs, or you're just kind of annoyed to yourself that you've worked outside of your hours and, oh, I'm always bending over backwards and I feel like she's taking advantage of me, blah, 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 blah. Then you really need to evaluate what you need to do. You need to train yourself to stick to the rules, and then that will train your clients to also stick to the rules. You're not going to lose a ton of clients, and even if you do lose a couple of clients, if that one client who can only come at midnight says, listen, I can't come to you anymore because I can only come till midnight, that's okay. You are going to win some and you are going to lose some. That's just part of business. You'll get to a point when you are tired of working outside of your hours, you're tired of doing things that are not what you want to do in your business, and you just have to rein it in, and you need to stick to those rules, and you need to implement them with your clients. And trust me, I have done this. I used to allow children to come to my nail salon, and there was a point where I stopped that. And yes, I lost a few clients because they were like, I don't have a sitter, and they may have been disappointed, but I have to be happy at the end of the day. If at the end of the day I'm complaining to my husband, I'm complaining to my friends, I'm just not really happy with how I'm running my business, and I'm stressed out all the time, then it's time to just reevaluate. I personally found that there was a point where I felt like I was giving an inch and they were taking a mile. And that's not at their fault, it's my own fault. Because if you present things in a certain way, your clients are going to expect to have them that way. So again, you really need to train your clients, and in order to do that, you have to train yourself. So number 3 is to make sure that you are charging what you're worth. So I see the question all over social media from people who are new in the industry, and even some ladies who are just wondering if they should up their prices, what they should charge. Now, I cannot tell you what to charge. I can give you some tools to use to determine what you should charge, but you really have to determine what you think your services are worth. So one of the things that factors in is where you live. So it depends on which country you live in, which province, which state, which city, because all different areas are going to charge different things. So if someone from the US asks me in Regina, Saskatchewan, what should I charge, or what would you recommend I charge? I really can't give her that advice or that information, because it is what I charge here is going to be completely different than what other people are charging there, and what might be the sort of going rate or what she thinks her services are worth. So one of the ways that I kind of evaluate whether or not I think I'm charging what I'm worth is if, say, for example, a client comes in, I do her nails and I charge her $50. And every time she comes in, I'm only charging her $50. And at the end of her service, when she leaves, I think to myself, you know what, that set was worth $60. I should be charging $60. If I don't feel like what I've put out is what I'm getting in regards to a monetary value, then I definitely need to be upping my prices. The other thing that I see so often is that people are relying on tips to make up for the income that they're not getting from what they're charging. So let me explain. So if, for example, I think that this service is worth $60, but I'm charging my client $50 in hopes that she will give me a $10 tip, that is not always going to work out, because what's going to happen is if she doesn't tip you, you are going to feel like you did all this work for nothing, you're going to be annoyed, and you're going to feel some type of way towards the client, and you're just not going to feel good about what you charged her. So you should never rely on tips to make up for the cost that you're not requesting. If you think that your service is worth $60, you charge $60. If someone wants to give you a $10 tip on top of that, that is just a bonus. Another thing that I do when I am reevaluating my pricing and whether I should increase my prices, or when I first started out in the industry and was wondering what I should be charging, was that I will call around to other friends that I have in the industry, particularly home-based salons, and ask them what are their prices. I will phone around or go onto the internet and look at websites of salons that are in my area and see what they're charging. And then I will sit down and really evaluate what I think my service is worth. So if I, for example, have been working in the industry for 10 years, I'm super quick at doing nails, my quality is great, I have tons of products to offer clients, but I'm not charging for nail art, I don't think that you should be doing that. I personally think that you should be charging for your nail art. I think that if you are at that level, that your nail art is not worth being free. And there's a few nail techs out there that I know, friends of mine, you know who you are because I've given you crap about it, that are not charging what they are worth. Now on the flip side, if you are new to the industry and say it's taking you 4 hours to do a set of nails, you barely have any colors or any art, your quality is maybe just not that great, you need to reevaluate and maybe not charge what people who have been in the industry for years and seasoned nail techs are charging. You may need to lower your prices a little bit. You just need to start a little lower and build up. So again, this is something that I think is very important. You need to charge what you're worth. Really evaluate what you think and what you are comfortable with. If again, at the end of the day, if you're doing a bunch of services and you are thinking, geez, I should have been charging way more, then that means you should be charging way more. You have to know your worth, because when you know your worth, your clients will know your worth. So number 4 is something that we don't generally talk about very much in the industry or openly. We might talk about it amongst ourselves and our group of friends, but we don't really talk about it openly, and that is that there are going to be some catty people in the industry, some not so nice people, and that is just something you are going to have to deal with. Now, this is something that I honestly wish that someone would have told to me before or when I first started, because I think when I was, just starting 12 years ago, I was very naive. I thought it was going to be a bunch of people, particularly women, banding together, supporting each other, and hoorah, hoorah, let's go nail team. And unfortunately, I, over the years, have run into some situations that were not the greatest. And because I wasn't prepared, particularly in the beginning of my career, I really didn't know how to handle it. I was kind of taken aback. So I wish someone would have just at least given me, and I know that it seems really dumb and you should just know, particularly working in an industry filled with women, that there's going to be cattiness. I just didn't see it that way. So now the other thing on the flip side of that is there are a plethora of amazing women and men in this industry who are willing to help you. They want to see you succeed. They want to be a stepping stone for you or a stepping stool to elevate you into the next level and to be the best that you can, rather than watch you fall or tear you down. There are so many more good people in this industry than there are bad people. But oftentimes it can take one bad seed to just make you feel like crap, and then you can just kind of start plummeting down, and we don't want that. Nobody wants that. So I will say one thing is try to align yourself with people in the industry who are like-minded, people who have the same goals as you, people who have the same values even as you, or just the way that they run their business is similar to you. It's great to find people on the internet and people who I would consider like pen pals, and maybe you get to meet up with them you know, at certain conventions and things like that. But I would also highly recommend finding people within your area, within your city. The great thing about that is you can meet up often. Here in the city, I actually started a group a couple of years ago called the NTGTs, so the Nail Tech Get-Togethers. Now, it's been a couple years since we've gotten together for various reasons. We just haven't gotten together yet, but I am planning to start that again this coming fall, so I'm hoping in October. But that's on a side note. But these girls are amazing. So there's probably, I want to say like 8 of us in total, maybe 6 to 8 of us. It's a very small group. But being that they are in my city, it's great that we can get together if we need to. If, say, I'm purchasing a product, I'm going to purchase from some website, and I'm like, hey guys, I'm placing an order if anyone wants to go in on the order with me. Then they can just come pick their stuff up at my house. If I am out of a product and I need something in a pinch, I can message the girls and be like, hey guys, does anyone have this product or anything like this that I can borrow? I can run over and grab it while I'm waiting for an order. So it's really amazing, and I would highly recommend to find people in your area. These women are going to support you. They are going to help you. If you have questions, if you have concerns, if you just need advice, I mean, there are so many different avenues that these women can help you. And we have all become such good friends. We have a group chat, and especially with COVID and everything going on and us starting back, you know, working, we've all been kind of in that nail room, or in that chat room, excuse me, just chopping it up, you know, adding information, asking how everyone's doing. So it is a very valuable thing to align yourself with great people in the industry. And there's going to be some that you meet along the way that aren't going to be so nice, and just don't worry about those ones. So moving on to number 5, and that is to make your nail studio or nail room, whatever you choose to call it, make it special. Put some effort into decorating your room. Make it professional. Make sure it's organized. Now, I understand that in some people's home-based businesses that it may be not feasible to have a separate room or a completely separate space, that they may be set up in the living room, in a small corner in their living room, or they may be set up in their basement in a small corner, and that's okay. I mean, I know people who do that as well. But if you can make that space sort of special or separate in a way, even if you bought some kind of wall dividers or if you hung some kind of curtains, and then just decorated it a little bit, it makes a huge difference. I have redecorated my nail studio or my nail salon, my nail room is usually what I call it, several times. I think in my 12-year career, I have probably redecorated my nail room 6 times. And every time people come into my nail salon, for the first time particularly, they're always in awe. They're in awe of how professional it is, how it's separate. It's like they're walking into a completely separate private salon, that it's organized, and of course that it is clean. So these are 3 things that I would highly recommend, especially if you are working from home. Make sure that it is organized, make sure that it is clean, and just make sure that it's special in your way. This isn't just for clients, this is also for you. If you love going into your space every day to work, you are going to love your job even more. If every day you go in there and the walls are dark and dingy and nothing's organized and you're just kind of throwing everything together to get the job done, you're not going to love going in there as much as someone like me who enjoys going into my beautiful pink sparkly space. So definitely make sure that you make it your own. There's so many different ways out there to do things on a budget. You don't have to spend a lot of money. If you have a separate room, throw a cool coat of paint on the wall. You can do something like I did behind me. This is all hand painted in my living room. In my other nail room before I moved upstairs, I did like a glitter accent wall. Everybody loved it. People walk in all the time and we're like, oh my gosh, I love this. How did you do that? Is it wallpaper? So even just something as simple as that just makes your room special and it makes it different. And these are things that are going to make those clients tell other clients to come see you. Number 6 is to watch and learn. So what I mean by this is go onto the social media platforms, particularly Instagram and IGTV. There are tons and tons of videos and tutorials that are very short clips, quick clips that show you how to do tons of nail art. I can't even begin to list the Instagram channels that I follow or Instagram pages that I follow because there are so many. And sometimes I'll just go into the search area and just watch all the videos that kind of just automatically pop up. But if you even search certain hashtags like nail tutorial or nail art or nail how-to, you will find tons of videos. And of course now with TikTok, there's even tons of quick little videos that I've seen on TikTok, so that's a popular one. Facebook is not quite as popular anymore for things like that, but definitely Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and of course YouTube. I'm gonna put a little plug in here for you guys to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe on my channel. But 3 of the channels that I really follow, I have followed TALIA'S Nail Tales for years and Sarah's Nail Secrets. And one that I recently just started watching a little more. I've actually had her channel subscribed for a long time, but I never really watched, honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, I was never really a huge YouTube watcher. I was never an avid YouTube watcher. But now I am. But her channel is the Nail Career Education. So if you've ever watched Susie, she just has like the sweetest voice and it's very calm and her demeanor just seems very sweet. And she has tons of different videos from business information, marketing, nail tutorials, all kinds of, I think she even just had one in regards to something about children and dealing with COVID and maybe how to social distance or something like that. So she has all kinds of videos, but she just comes off as a very kind person. So Nail Career Education, that is another one. It's the easiest and the cheapest way to learn nail art is by freely watching YouTube or videos on Instagram or on Pinterest because it's free. So definitely do that. So number 7 is that I highly, highly recommend that you take tons and tons of videos and photos for your social media platforms. Now this is something that you might think, duh, that's what we do all the time, but lots of people do not do it and they don't take the time to put an effort into editing the photos. So 3 of the editing apps that I use are PICSART. Sometimes I use SNAPSEED. SNAPSEED is really good if you have something that you need to remove from the photo. So if there's, say, like a rogue glitter or a nail dust particle, or even sometimes if I've had clients come in and they've just recently bit their cuticles and they have, you know, a little nasty area that I want to remove, I can sometimes remove that. So there's the little band-aid icon in Snapseed that you can use to remove things. And then I also use the app called Preview to organize all of my photos before posting them, and you can add captions and things like that. I will link all of those below. Now those are all for Android. I'm not sure what's out there for iPhone, because again, I'm not an iPhone person, but I'm pretty sure that all 3 of those, or things that are very similar to those, are on iPhone. So the other thing that I want to mention is that you don't have to spend a ton of money to have good photos. Nowadays, the photos that are in the cameras that are in the phones are very high quality. So I have a Galaxy Note 10 Plus for my business phone, and so that's the one that I generally take photos with for my business and videos and what I'm recording right now on. And then I also have a Galaxy S10, and again, that one takes really great photos. That's my personal phone. Now I did buy a small little ring light from Amazon just to add a little bit of lighting. So I would say if you're going to spend money and you don't want to spend a lot of money, like say on a camera, for example, I would spend a little bit of money on lighting. I actually have a magnifying ring light that I just ordered, and I'm waiting for it to come from Amazon, that I will be posting in one of my haul videos when it comes. And it was recommended to me by a gal called Gel Nails by Jen Gamble. She has an awesome name. So yes, I will definitely put a link to that. I haven't got it yet, but I will put a link to it below because her photos look amazing. The lighting on them is great, and she just has it clipped to her desk, she was showing me, and then when she needs it, she just kind of swings it around and it works perfectly. So I'm excited to get that, just to add a little bit of extra, you know, zhuzh to my photos. But yes, you definitely want to take the time to take lots of photos, take videos, take some time to edit them, and then post them on your social medias. I have a few friends that are in the industry, not just the nail industry, but the beauty industry, and they really don't post a lot of photos, and it's not benefiting them to build their business. That's how you build your business. I mean, if we're being real, people go on your page, they want to see your work. So if you don't have a lot of your work posted, or your photos are dark, or they're kind of grainy, or they're blurry, you're just not putting your work out there to the best of your ability, and you will gain more clients if you have amazing photos. So number 8 is that I highly, highly recommend that you take at least one class per year. So just one at the bare minimum. I know some nail techs who take like 5 a year, and I would say that this is a super important part of running your business and continuing to elevate your business and continuing to elevate your craft. So one of the things that happens to us sometimes in this business is we lose our nail mojo. I see that posted on social media all the time from other nail techs. I also have had that feeling where it's just like, I feel like I've lost my creativity. I feel kind of blah. But if you take any type of a course or a class, you will get your mojo back. It just kind of rejuvenates you. It kind of revives that creativity in you, that business savvy. It just revives you to want to keep pushing your business because you've learned something. So now I'm not just speaking solely about taking a class, say on like nail art or nail structure. Those are amazing, and yes, I highly recommend those, but I'm also talking about classes or programs in regards to your business in general. So like marketing, or how to use social media, or even if you're starting a YouTube channel, research all the different videos on YouTube and how to build your YouTube channel. So basically any type of a class that pertains to running your business, I would highly recommend at the very least to take one a year. So for example, here in Saskatchewan, we have what's called the Nail Masters Canada. So it's a little convention out in Saskatoon, and I have not been the last 2 years. I have missed the last 2 years, and I can tell you that I have missed it. It is just a great way. Those ones in particular where you're actually going to a actual in-person class, which I know right now with COVID, there's not a lot of that going on. Damn, COVID has ruined so many things. But if you can actually get to a physical class and be surrounded with other nail techs, other people who are wanting to learn, that's even better, because being around those people and talking about things, it just makes you feel good. Like I said, it rejuvenates everything in you within your business to make you feel better and want to be more successful and want to keep pushing and bring you to the next level. All right, guys, we're almost to the end. So number 9 is to make sure that you get your clients to fill out client information cards. Now, again, this might be something that people are like, duh, Jen, we know this. But I personally didn't know that. I was not taught that when I was in school, but I did figure it out on my own in the beginning of my business, and I did have people filling out cards. I actually had them on little recipe cards in a little recipe box. They were super tiny. And what happened was I ended up spilling acetone all over the box while it was open one time, and it kind of melted all the ink on the cards got ruined, and at that point I had my clients for such a long time that I honestly didn't get them all to refill out the cards, and I really should have, because this is such an important thing for everyone's safety and all of the clients' safety in our salon. So the main thing that I would say, or the main reason for this, is if God forbid, in the event something happened to your client in your nail studio, in your salon, or in your home for that matter, this card with all of the health information on it would help to aid them as quick as possible when the EMTs come, you will have information on medication, you will have information on allergies or anything like that. And you will also have contact information to contact their family member. So of course we are not wishing or hoping that anything like that happens, but it could happen. So this is just a way for you to feel confident that if anything did happen, you can react quickly, you can have all the information that you need to help them as quick as possible. And also now with COVID, it's really good to have, you know, some different types of forms and cards. I will actually link below. I originally created a paper form, and then I found a website thanks to a client of mine called JotForm. I will link it below, and it is amazing. You can custom make forms, they have templates, and basically you can just send them to clients through email or through just through a link, and they can actually sign right on the phone and send it to you. It's awesome. So I will link that below for you guys. But yes, for the safety of everyone and for your conscience, definitely get them to fill out some client information forms. All right, guys, so you made it to number 10, and this is going to be the cheesiest one, but it is important for me to tell you that you just need to not give up. Do not give up. Now, there are going to be days where you feel burnt out. There are going to be days where you deal with unruly clients. There are going to be days where, like I said, you come across some catty people in the industry, or there are going to be days where you just don't want to get up to work just like anybody else who has any kind of a job. There's just days where you feel like you don't want to work. But what I'm going to say to you is do not give up, no matter what. I have been through situations, there was probably 3 times in my career personally where I wanted to give up for various reasons, and I was pushed by people who care about me, people in the industry who are supportive, my family, who just said, don't give up. This is something you love. This is your passion. Now, when I first started in the industry, the competition was definitely not as heavy as it is now. So you guys are gonna have a bit of a tougher time. Now, that doesn't mean that I didn't work my butt off, I didn't hustle, and I didn't stress out. I did all of those things. But the competition is a lot heavier now, and if this is something that you are passionate about and something that you love and something that you really want to do for your career, do not give up. This is an amazing industry to be in. The beauty industry in general is amazing, but really the nail industry has leveled up so much in the last, I would say 10 years in particular. It has just leveled up, and there are so many amazing people in this industry, so many amazing artists. And you are going to go through some things, and you are going to have some hurdles, and you're going to have some bumps, but do not give up. Keep pushing, build your business, build your brand, build your confidence, and you will be successful. All right, guys, if you made it all the way to the end, kudos to you. I know that this is a long video. I know that I tend to ramble, but I had so much information that I wanted to get out to you guys. And I hope that whether you are starting new in the industry or if you are a seasoned nail tech, that you have taken something positive away from this video. I want to say thank you so much for watching, not just this video, but for supporting my channel. I recently reached my 500 subscribers, and I'm working on my 1,000 subscribers, and I'm also working on the 4,000 hours of watched time. So if you've watched this video, thank you for adding to that watch time. I will say the one good thing that came out of COVID was that it got my butt in gear to start the YouTube channel that I have been wanting to start for years. So I have to give COVID a little bit of credit for that, because had it not been for that, I probably wouldn't have started. So thank you, COVID, as much as I hate everything else about you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. If you know anyone else who would like this video, please share it with them. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below for me. And as always, have an amazing day.